Gamescom is finally over. So does that mean this is the last bit of Ghetto footage we're gonna get? I think so. First, we got some international gameplay again, and then we'll have some more NBA action for the second part of the video. But since this first part is international, let's talk about Team USA. Did you see that game against Brazil? Did you see Anthony Davis beasting and feasting, throwing down lobs? The Brow, my career teammate, he's really developing nicely, and he's so young. He's only been in the league 2 years. So even though technically he is a power forward on Team USA, he's playing the center position. He's our best big man. We got him starting. And Derrick Rose is really having a good time out there. He was getting so many cheers. The fans in Chicago, they are ready for him to return. And he's playing great. He's still got that 99 speed, explosiveness, crazy layups. It's gonna be fun to watch next season. So 2K15, obviously this isn't the final build, but so far, at this point in their development cycle, there haven't been that many changes. The player models, a lot of the players seem to be skinny. They lost weight. It's like everybody's on that LeBron James diet, dropping weight. So really the only major change that you can see from these first few gameplays, now that so many have come out, is really just the scoreboard. If the scoreboard was just like 2K14, you wouldn't know that this was 2K15. Even though it's early footage, it's an early build, there haven't been that many tweaks. It makes you wonder, why would 2K allow this build of the game to be at Gamescom? Because this can't be where they are in the development cycle right now. There's just no way. There's not enough changes. Now we have to remember that last year, I remember there was some gameplay where we saw the leaning layup cheese. And we all thought that that meant that the leaning layup cheese was coming back in 2K14. But then when 2K14 was released, the leaning layup cheese was nowhere to be found, even though we saw it in those early gameplays. And they weren't even these kind of gameplays. The leaning layup cheese was spotted in an official gameplay, not recorded with the cell phone, but real gameplay. Was released on IGN's channel, so everybody started panicking. We said, whoa, the leaning layup cheese is there. For the last few years, 2K has slightly changed the controls of their game, so I wonder, are they gonna do that again this year? Like the flashy pass, are they gonna change that? Are they gonna remove the way you do it? Because I feel like no one really uses the flashy pass. Do you use it? If you play 2K14, do you ever bust out the flashy pass? I myself, I almost never do that, ever. It's completely useless in my book. And 2K even has a signature skill for this cheese. And the funny thing about that is when it was out, they were advertising it hard. Like they were like, yeah, flashy passes. They named that as one of the features of the game, and yet nobody uses it. Because I play my team, and the people I go up against, I never see people using it either. So who knows what they're gonna do with that. Now, another thing that's interesting is that the Spurs are such a great passing team. In the NBA Finals, they really displayed their passing game, and that's something that is missing from 2K. You cannot pass like the Spurs in 2K14. So as we get closer to the release of 2K15, since the Spurs won the championship, the first thing that 2K should have worked on is the passing. And that was a nice crossover move by Tony. But of course he has to miss the shot. That's why it's a little disappointing that even though this is an early build, we know it's early, but the passing improvements, there's not really, you don't really see improvements there with the passing game. I see a few new passing animations, and look at that rebound sequence. Did you see that cheese? That is a bad sign. Shabazz was supposed to get that rebound, but that volleyball tap cheese disrupted his rebound, and then of course, it's chaotic again. I really hope that that is not in the final build of the game, because they got to work on it. These are issues they've had for years, so why are they still there? Why don't they just fix it once and for all, make the game so much better? But the passing is the most important aspect of the game, and that's why if they don't get that down, oh, look at that, they're trying to do lobs with the Spurs. That's why if they don't fix the passing, if you use the Spurs, you're not really going to be able to dominate. You're not going to be able to beat other teams that are cheesing because you can't take advantage of the passing. That's why the Spurs are so good, because everybody on the court is accountable. It doesn't matter who it is. When they run a pick and roll, a screen, if you're open for a split second, they make the right pass and it turns into an easy layup. Everybody can score on their team. Everybody can't create their own shot, but their passing creates shots for the team. And the next most important issue has to be the spacing, because the Spurs, you notice in the NBA Finals, none of their shooters got blocked on three-point shots, even though that happens all the time in 2K14 because the spacing is so bad. And the spacing doesn't really look improved here in all the footage we've seen. Again, it's a pretty early build, so hopefully when the game comes out, we'll see some drastic changes in these departments. But the spacing and the passing is what makes the Spurs the best team in the league. That's why they won the championship, because of those two things. So 2K15 has to have those things down pat. The spacing is why people are running 1-3-1 zone when you play online. And that's another thing. I really hope the 1-3-1 zone isn't even in the game. There's no point for it to be in the game because nobody ever uses it in the NBA. That's something that teams use in college. In the NBA, nobody runs a 1-3-1. If they're gonna run a zone, they just bust out a 2-3. And even the 2-3 zone, you don't really see that much in the NBA because it just doesn't work. I think it was Bruce Bowen that said championship teams don't run zone, which is true. I mean, if you're a championship team, why would you be busting out a zone? You play man to man, you rotate, you help. There's no need to play a zone. I think this is the first time the guy playing the game is actually gonna beat the CPU. He's up 13-8. Oh, he's lobbing. He tried a few lobs here in this gameplay. They didn't work, but he's playing with the Spurs, so we don't really know if they tweak that, if they improve the lob game. We have to wait until we see some gameplay with somebody that can actually throw it down mean, and then when you throw a lob, what's gonna happen? Buy a shirt by August 31st for your chance to win a free PlayStation 4. That's Howell in the game. He's not gonna shoot. I can't pass it that way. So it's really 4 against 5 right now. Back to Barnes. Let it fly. Ah, man.